Thank you for the coffee, sir.
Yeah,
Cheers, man.
cheers, man. To Mr. Bat again, boy.
Hey.
Fast and gone, 2 years coming up fast. You know, I met some people here. I met a nice little couple this weekend, Saturday. No, boy, Sunday. I went to the grocery Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Sunday morning I leave here. So I go and buy some groceries. And the other change over the weekend, but how I moved Friday, it was too late to really go grocery and things. So I ended up going grocery Sunday. Met this nice little couple Sunday morning. I buy my thing and I come. They drop me up the road.
Uh,
I go and tell them I want to buy a bag. I they buy the ice and plus they buy along street, the man and the girl them drinking Heineken. Plus they had a whole case they put in the cooler. So when they drop me out there, they give me two and also come home. The ladies are lawyer.
excuse me.
Yes, you walk in the courts. Nice people, nice people. Everybody always just ask about and thing, man.
It's be nice when you meet nice people.
They just watch us good. Yeah,
What do you make
pleasant.
somebody nice?
I think personality, you know. You have a way about it. According to like I just say me and no nice man, but people seem to be drawn to me in a kind of way because what is a person like carefree, you know? Like, say what I want to say without holding back. And people have a way with that, you know, and they like how like this is nature here. People doing video out in the city, they showing you a lot of different simile things. But this is like a natural area when you come here, it's like a normal thing. You're just in nature, you're hearing bird sound, you're seeing like trees planting, fruit trees, vegetables, whatever. Just nature. It's not when you say that make a person nice. You mightn't have a nice feature and thing, but you see in a person, the way you present yourself, how you deal with people. Oh, you have a rapport with people then. It's simple like that, you know. They tell you to beauty is in the eye of the beholder and beauty is skin deep. And they say nice things that be in glass cases, like pastries and diamonds and
I'll tell you something. There's this business that I support from time to time, right? And recently I start bouncing up the owner of the business in a space that outside of the business place, right? So elsewhere, not in the business place.
right. You mean
And
genuine common ground.
yeah, on common ground. Maybe this is a little bit small minded of me, but on this common ground, away from his business, I find him to be not a nice person.
Okay.
And you tell me what you think about this, but I have actually made a decision based on that to stop supporting his business. Is that small minded of me?
No, you see, you're looking at the future there. Following up on something like that, you don't know when you meet that person, you look good on one side and bad on the outside, so you don't know where you will end up. So you have a point you could step aside. You actually have the confrontation with the individual on a one-to-one basis, so you will actually know.
And it's not that anything bad has happened between us, It's just that, the person disposition is almost like a kind of a cool front that the person puts on, and it's like, okay, cool,
You have a double standard. I call that double standard. You present one thing to some people, like you, for instance, he might deal with you nice. You're seeing him, but when you do see me, you're like, nah, I'm not the person. No, 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 no. What type of business they have?
I'd rather not see.
All right. But I see a big up Susie.
Pick up Susie's Roti Parlor in New York. By the time you'll see in this video, you would have learned that Susie's Roti Parlor has contributed the balance of the finances towards Farmer Harry's trip to Antigua. So shout out Susie's Roti Parlor.
Listen, Susie, thank you a lot.
They're in Brooklyn. So if ever you're feeling for a doubles or a shrimp roti, they also have something on the menu, codfish. You can check them out. I'll put the address for them down in the video description. Also, they have a website, susiesroti.com. Check them out.
Big up to Susie in Brooklyn.
Big up to Susie. Big up to Navin. Big up to the team at Susie's Roti Parlor.
You know what people looking for right now, Lyndon? A lot of people looking for land in the country area to buy. Everybody want land now. Like, I don't know, but like it is a trend. People realize in the older days they had the land, they sell it out and gone. The kids now looking to get back piece of land. It's kind of sad. Now the country had no land that you can really go anywhere and cut any land and thing because it's government reserve plus private land. Anyway, the government has land now, they come in and building houses to support the influx of foreigners. Locals want to come back. We have a lot of refugees in the country too. So the place getting smaller. When you think it will be bigger with the enlargement of the villages and things, it's getting smaller because more people you have, less food they will have, more utilities will be used. You're putting a strain on the economy, financially, physically, mentally. It's the whole process. So people thinking about when you see these people coming by the Coral River and thing, to bathe and thing. These people working from 9 to 5, I just call it. And it's the only time some of these people do go and party and think them is homeowners' job, they do working job. So on a Saturday and Sunday they come up by the river, eat the curry duck and the roti, drink the little rum, they go back home, rest again. Monday is the same ship again. Weekend you let loose again. So a lot of people look for sanctuary, however they find it. Peace of mind, boy. Go by the savannah.
Big up Michael Zambrano. Patricia Beto. Miss Patricia. Miss Bernadine. Miss Judy T. Big up Robert. Robert, I don't remember your surname right now. But big up to you, sir. I appreciate seeing you in the comments. Shout out to my mom and dad. My elder sister, Lisa. Liba, who was up here with Farmer Harry for Diwali when Farmer Harry make his parsad. Big up Lasana. I saved the best for last. Big up Kimberly, my wife.
And the two girls.
Big up Haley and Anna. I love all you very much. I'm drinking a nice sweet coffee here. Not as sweet as the first batch.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, people looking for homes. And I think back to our experience when it comes to inheritance and my grandfather, it may go back to my great grandfather. I'm not too sure of the history there. But go back to my grandfather leaving land for each one of his children. He do well, man. They do well, he and my grandmother.
And where
They
they
do
was from,
well dividing the land. They seem to have some kind of origins in Maraval, somewhere in the west. I don't know exactly. I have to ask Daddy.
never trace it out.
Yeah, I never trace it out. Some of my cousins have. I believe, yeah, Rose, who was here, I think one of our sisters kind of do a deep dive into the family tree and the roots. But through the inheritance that my grandfather and grandmother left and passed along to Daddy, and Harry, that is honestly the only reason that Kimberly and I were able to afford to build our houses is through that gift. So when you talk about people selling land or like what's the right thing to do? For instance, let me say for instance, you a family has 3 or 4 children. The children go up and grow up, they leave, but each one of them in a position where they have their families and they're renting, right? So, but the parents have their home that they own. Who, what do you do with that house, boy? When the
Well,
years have gone by, do you sell it and divide the money with the children? Do you keep the house in the family and say, well, I'll fight for it, last man standing, get?
but you just always pick one particular inheritor who will be able to carry on the line. You mightn't get everyone to follow, but one of them will accept the inheritance and truly love it.
And that's based on what? Who's the last child or the first one?
Last one, based on the last child.
But if the last one not too sensible, there's a real problem, you know?
Well, sometimes you see you make those kids, you don't make their mind. How your dad was able to accommodate that inheritance and pass it along so you could inherit. No, you think in the same way. It come like they left the line with you. You was the last child. You know, at least you get a gift and you do something with it. It was worthwhile to you. You needed that at that time because maybe things would have been different with you. You would not be out here. You would not be there. You'd have to be struggling somewhere, although you're working. You would not be able to build the house. So that inheritance do you good. Pass it on to the small one. But always make room for the big one. You give them the choice, boy. It's always good to leave something.
Well, in the biblical days, it probably still so in some parts of the world, but like when you read about the birthright really went to the firstborn.
Yeah. When the firstborn does sell it. The firstborn sell it, you know. It all come down to that the people at the time, right? They'll be too young to realize what they have. So they'll make some bad choices. And you know, at the end of the movie, they go tell you, no, boy, you know, I should have done that.
Hmm.
I could have done that. I would have do that. This and I would have, should have, whatever. No, 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 no. You come back to the Bible again. The Lord give you a free will to think, to make choices.
It's a sensitive question, so I understand if you don't want to answer it, right? But when you think about what you have and your possessions in whatever forms it may take, what's your thoughts on inheritance and beyond you?
Well, like I said, me I really have no inheritor. Because the people who am I going to give the land, they won't be able to accommodate it. They know it's nothing about the land. They like things on the land, but they say would come in and work land and thing, you know. I don't know inheritor. According to what he was talking, like the old man who gave me the speech here, right here, and what he was telling me. He say here what happening, you planting the land and thing, and they say what you doing that when you're planting more and more, like all of a sudden you're planting plenty. You dead in the morning. He say, forget about that. You want to say you're gone, who come behind like them, whatever. You know what I mean? That's how he say that. Because I go be living my life and thinking I have no body and I go be a stress on my mind. Forget that. Do what you're doing while you're alive. Every day you're above the ground. If you feel to plant 10 pepper trees, don't start you won't reap it tomorrow. You know what I mean? I do have no inheritance. So it come like I doing something in our body. If I jump in the morning and decide to go, just go so too. Forget that. You're done dead. You won't know what's happening.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So these are the things that worry and frustrate people.
And it might take decades or generation until somebody appear that willing to take up the mantle and continue with it. Eh? I mean, through time, you have a lot of instances of that, I guess, where something would just stand still. Is sad, why when you think about construction, for instance, and you pass, there's a house I could think about in Savannah Drive. When you're taking a shortcut from Eddie Hart to go towards Savannah Drive on the highway,
Yeah, I know.
there's
Yeah.
a house you would usually pass by, and I think since I am a little boy, that house has more or less, kind of just stood in a certain. Of course, it could be financial constraints, things I don't know about, right? But it's just an example. And then one day somebody appears and you just get progress on it. But you're right. We could just leave our mark while we here.
Yeah, forget about the next day.
I see Mr. Bat as a real kind of perfect example of that in terms of Your signature could only last while you're here, while you're breathing, while you're alive, while they could do
Yeah,
things.
you could say, yeah, you could say you have men. You have 10 different women, and we go share the property with all of them. You know, one out of the 10 might really want the property, but they will fight her down and she will abandon too, and I the person who really want. It's like that. It's sensitive question in truth, but yeah, if you have nobody to leave nothing for, why to worry about it? Do what you have to do while you're here. When you're gone, you're gone. The man said it rightly. When you're dead, you don't know what's going on. You could have $1 million, you could have this brush cutter, you have the power, so you have your little camera, but you just pass out and gone. If you have nobody and you make no will and you have no will and take, anybody could come in and take it over. Somebody will continue somewhere. You might want that person for that issue, but that is the person who will carry on unknowing to you. What are you worrying about? But every day you have me above the young tank you make, I guess.
Hmm.
For giving you a little more life, a little extra breath to breathe. Don't worry about tomorrow. While I was growing up and thing, I used to move with a fella who was a hunter, right? And I was hunting from small and thing, able to move around with my adopted father. He had a license gun. So I used to go in the cocoa and shoot squirrel and thing. They used to pay $1 for the tail, right? And he used to tell me, he said, see that fella you're moving with? He's a waste of time. Them are 30 and 40 acres. And he, father just beg him to cut back that cocoa job. He had money all the time because he had to work for it. And he said, you see, he's not a good man. And you know what he used to tell me? The same fella we're talking about, the man who have real land and he ain't doing nothing. He said, boy, I me a planting an orange tree. And he used to pass in the own land in the father place and chop orange on the tree until when we pass it. Me a planting that man. Who are you planting that for? Me a planting nothing so nobody could. I said, but we out here a long time. I picking orange from where people planted 100 years ago. I cut and figure again coconut. Leave something for somebody. If it's one tree a plant, they could drink or not. No, not all the trees that planted there's bear fruit, eh? And this is a thing from the book too. But some of the trees that be planted just to shelter the weary travelers. It do have to be, but it will be a shade still. So when you have it all, you do see it. It's when somebody you watching a man down, you watching a little bit, that man struggling, but that man living 100 a week and thing, and we have tens of thousands, as the man said. You understand what I'm saying? The man said, don't plant nothing, man, and he chopping his own father orange and chopping down a fig tree until while we hunting and thing in the land. And if I did study, look at, I plant land so, I plant land so, I plant land so, I come and plant in here. I ain't moving from here, but I move all about. I live all over the place. Real places I travel and live in Trinidad, boy. 9 months here, 9 years here, 15 years there, 5 years there. 8 years so by my partner, 20 years I hit the mountain now and decide not to move again. They say rolling stone gather no more. But this big stone finally reach a mountain, it can't roll nowhere again. So plant and leave food all here. We do have to reap it. Not everything you sow, you shall reap.
It might be shade for a weary traveler.
Yes.
I like that. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah. They say the fruits are planted by the rivers of waters, right? Remember when you plant a tree and it on the river bank? When a fruit drop and it hit the water, it will sail on down the river and make a corner somewhere way down and bank itself and a tree will form there too. So that is where it is all. The seed will always keep traveling. As the Bible tell you, God scatter the seeds of Israel to the four corners of the earth. The real inheritors of the biblical story just disappear. They get thin. The population disintegrate because of the miss and mismatch of religious beliefs. Plant food, man. That's all I want to do. You could walk on the land up in the back of me and pull a cassava. If you're a man, you could boil that and fry that and eat that just so. You don't have to have anything else. I mean, it's not a way to live, but sometimes it's better. You see, material thing, Lyndon. People just feel, well, you own material, but material real own you, you. You ain't own that, You have your car. You have to go and buy gas. In a month time, you have to give a oil checkup. $1,800 just to change oil. You need some tire that are $3,000, right? Sometimes you're working for 5,000. You're saying, but I had to do this. I had to do this oil change, like $2,000. If you had to save it like me, sometimes 5 by 5 to buy a little brush cutter, then that's what you have to do. You have to put things in a lineup. You tip off that this morning. Yeah, but I have to go by Harry, tip off that you did that. You have to go and pick up your lead. You have to think that. You have to go and check your outside lady. Well, you have to do that. Here what happened, another thing. Like, okay, you don't have every time, but every time you walk the street, somebody asks you for that $5. I just always say the first person asks me, I will give them it. But the second person asks me, I might not have it to give them, but I'll give somebody. Look like I went and dropped the chain on them. I think by the lady to shop me up this Saturday.
Uh-huh.
Friday, in fact.
This is the chain for your chainsaw.
You look the two of them there. And buy the cord to make fully bust in the gas. Tell the things that happen just one behind the other. So I went up, got a cord for the saw too. When you pull in, that bust. But I get the cord. I go and mount it up and put on the chain too. I had to take down that and put on the cord. So I went and looked for that and thing. And that little lady know we good. She just watch our figure and thing. I started carrying. Before last time I carry a Tutti Putti girl, when I go back Friday, I carry a few orange for she. I go back for the chain and carry a few pepper, 2 3 5 finger. She just laugh and think she must get to a custom, but carry everything like small thing. But the handle me good. I lost the bill and I go there, she was still give me the chain. It's like that. Every time I walk out there, I put $600 in my pocket, I go down the road, I go buy she $50 to do the chain. Pass it from there to come back, I go in the grocery. I pass in the market, I buy some carrots, I buy some cucumbers and things. I go in the grocery with about $400. Time I come out the grocery, I about 80. The two things in some little bags. So as you say, you can't spray on grocery neither. Because if you want to go and spray on grocery, I have a couple thousand. $400 and $500 I give you nothing in the grocery. You buy
and,
some.
and you say long time with how much money you're crying tooth in bag?
They give me a pension book, $26 in it. And when you go in the shop, they pull out a 10 or a 5. Boy, and the flower was 250, Jed. That alone was plenty weight for me as a 10-year-old. And I have a big bag, the other kind of canvas army bag long time now, boy. The old man had one. Put that on my back and, boy, I said, cry, boy.
So, folks, on that note, thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the discussion. It's wonderful to be here with Farmer Harry. We enjoy some black coffee with sugar. Special thanks again to Susie's Roti Parlor for bringing us one giant step closer to sending Farmer Harry to Antigua. And whatever you're up to, take care of yourself.
Blessed morning to all subscribers and just all viewers.